Two, one. Yo. CMPRadio.net, man. You already know it's your boy Uncle P, man. And I am here in the Cultivated Mature Positivity Studios, man. And I have a guest, man. I have a good brother, man. We've been talking for years about doing what we're about to do right now and future endeavors. And just for me, right? Over the last year and a half, it's been hard, right? It's been difficult to really put my feet down, right? Because I don't know when the rug's going to be pulled out from underneath of me, right? So um, my head is typically up in the clouds, and every time I see this brother right here, he gives me that safe space to put my feet down, right? Because I know he's not going to pull the rug from out from underneath of me. I know, he's not going to try to manipulate the situation, but he always talks to me with reverence, talks to me with reverence, and always giving me a clean slate. It's like when I leave him from talking to him, I got a clean slate and I can go out and I can do what I need to do. And I appreciate Brother Ben for being that brother for me and talking to me the way he does. Um, and I just want to read, his bio. Not even his bio right now, right? I just want to talk about the things that he has done, right? He studied international affairs, history, diplomacy, statesmanship, conflict resolution, and in the village of peace, right? Conflict resolution is a big thing right now in our community, right? Trying to get the brothers to put the guns down, trying to get the sisters to understand that they don't always need to call their cousins and brothers and whoever they're going to call on somebody. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about who went wrong, where they went wrong, and let's try to resolve that. Right, that's a big thing that's going on in our community right now. And I want to give a huge shout out to my brother Geo Stockman, who's running CPSN, and who also works for Making a Change Group as a lead interventionist in our community to continue the mission that was started, and also to give credit to the brothers that are with him and doing what they're doing. So I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time. I know people get tired of hearing me talk because I can do that, right? I want to give my brother a second or a minute to introduce himself and talk about how he sees what's going on in the community. Brother Ben, how are you? How are you feeling? And yeah, man, the mic is on. It's hot.
Well, first I want to give all honor, praise, and thanks to the Great Spirit, the Creator, the Most High, by whatever name that those of your viewers may call upon, unto whom all praise is due. I greet you in peace, and I thank you for the opportunity to engage in these very significant conversations. But you asked the question, how am I doing? And I am doing magnificent, really. Just listening to the things that you said, I guess that to introduce myself, the question eternally has been is what is in a name, and with the moniker that Brother Pierre used, Brother Ben, that's who I am, because we are in the geographical location of Chester, Pennsylvania, which, for those of you who are not familiar with Chester, Chester is, to me, the equivalent of Harlem, in that it's a place where if you weren't careful, you could get hurt pretty badly, pretty quickly. But at the same time, Harlem produced the Harlem Renaissance, which was a wellspring of cultural expression that still continues to echo and ripple throughout the world, really. So, in saying that, I come from that kind of a place where whatever it was that you were looking for, you could find, both positive and negative. But the name Brother Ben, and what's in that name is brother, of course. Brother Pierre spoke of the manner in which we have been blessed to interact with one another as brothers and as men, as strong men in particular, with respect. So, as brothers, there's an understanding when it's permitted or when it's allowed to come into that space. There is a strength that comes from your brother that you can get nowhere else. And in that regard, what we have seen, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think I should say this at this time, is that one of the strategies employed against people of African descent in the Western Hemisphere of America, to keep them subjugated, has been the strategy of divide and conquer. And we're currently in a situation where we're dealing with divide and conquer 2.0, where now we're dividing ourselves. We're dividing ourselves along religious delineations, along fraternal and Masonic designations, along skin tone and skin color designations. We're dividing ourselves in terms of geographical locations that we may have grown up in or live. We're dividing ourselves in the sense of what set you represent within the gang culture and so forth. So, but we're also dividing ourselves in terms of, in many instances, men are not having the type of dialogue and exchange that Brother Pierre spoke of. So therefore, we remain fractured and broken, and victims of the more than 400 years worth of soul transformation that we have encountered. And soul transformation, I think, would be the equivalent in a psychological term of generational trauma that we're dealing with. And I'll say that as I wrap that to a close, we're familiar with the saying that it takes a generation, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to heal the generational trauma that we're dealing with. No man, woman, or child even can do these things alone. We need each other. the universe is created that way to force us to turn to one another. And in fact, the social and political atmosphere in this time in the United States, which I'm hoping we get a chance to touch upon at some point, even if it's not this particular session.
You're coming back, right? Let's do that.
Oh,
Let's
okay,
let's
we'll do that.
let's
We'll do that.
let's talk about
I'll be around.
right. So we're not rushing anything.
Blessings.
We're taking our time with this, right?
Understood.
Because it's important,
Okay.
right? It's important to talk to our people. And we were talking earlier.
Well, let me give you the name.
Go ahead, do your thing.
So talking earlier, we'll put a pin right there and come right back. So
Mhm.
Brother Ben, I'm a brother of this community. I'm a brother within this community. I'm a brother for this community. I'm a brother of this community. But when I say that I'm a brother of this community, the moniker Brother Ben, the Ben in that, in Hebrew, the word Ben means son. And the brother who I am now and the things that I'm inspired to do throughout the world even are as a result of growing up in the city of Chester. And any place I go, that's the story I'm telling. I'm sticking to it. And that's just everybody's just going to have to deal with that because I grew up, I remember the Project House, which was near to the LV, the Lomokin Village Project. The Project House got me exposed to Bill Dandridge, who is a phenomenal artist from Chester that has had global impact that most people may not know even existed. My experience growing up in Chester was, it has become all too common to see brothers, whether in the athletic field or various fields that would cause them to be on television, say that they grew up with no man in the household or they grew up with no strong men around. And that wasn't my experience growing up in Chester. My dad was in the house, but I also had former not city council, school board member, Charlie Washington, who was my next door neighbor, raising a family. I also had Mr. Herman Dykes on the other side as a neighbor, raising his family with it being intact. His son, Herman Dykes, who also went on to distinguish himself on the football field, was a standout player for Chester High School. 2 doors over was William Kershaw Saunders, who became, pardon me, who became my adopted uncle, and his wife, Starrin Saunders, my adopted aunt. He was the head of OIC in the city of Chester, working under the Reverend Dr. Leon Sullivan, who, I mean, this was the type of environment that I grew up in.
Right.
And the type of
men that you were around.
Exactly.
Right.
Strong men make strong men.
Iron sharpens iron.
And at this point, the least that I could do is try in some way to honor their legacy and paying it forward. It makes me think about what I'm going to share with you now, which is a writing by Haki Madhubuti.
Say that name again?
Haki Madhubuti. He is still alive with us. He's in Chicago. Matter of fact, I may have the opportunity to see him when I'm there. I travel out tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But he says, and he was a poet, is a poet, and a griot more significantly. But he said that you will recognize, and I quote, "You will recognize your brothers by the way they act, and move throughout the world.
Hmm.
There will be a strange force about them. There will be unspoken answers in them. This will be obvious not only to you, but to many. The confidence they have in themselves and in their people will be evident in their quiet saneness.
Hmm.
The way they relate to women will be clean, complimentary, responsible, and with honesty. The way they relate to children will be strong and soft, full of positive direction. The way they relate to men will be that of questioning our position in this world. Will be one of planning for movement and change. Will be one of working for their people. Will be one of gaining and maintaining trust within the race.
Mm.
These men at first will seem strange and unusual, but this will not be the case for long. They will train others, and the discipline they display will become a way of life for many. They know that this is difficult, but this is the life they have chosen for themselves, for us, and for life. They will be the examples. They will be the answers. They will be the first line builders. They will be the creators. They will be the first to give up the pleasures. They will be the first to share a Black value system. They will be the workers. They will be the scholars. They will be the providers. They will be the historians. They will be the doctors, lawyers, farmers, priests, and all that is needed for growth and for development and growth. You will recognize your brothers, and they will not betray you. So I come as a reflection in the lineage of those kinds of men that have blessed my life and blessed the lives of the people in the community of which I've been blessed to be a part. So that's the introduction of my name and who I am. I hope that satisfies the question, Brother Pierre.
Yes, it does. It does, right? And you answered it the way I expected you to answer it, right? A deep answer that explains everything that your name embodies, right? Because your given name, right, is Tom Outland.
Correct.
It was given to you.
Yes.
But Brother Ben has a different meaning for you,
indeed,
than Tom Outland, right? And I
See,
get that.
That right there is what's lacking.
Hmm.
Because the power to define the situation is the greatest power that there could be. So, okay, I understand what I inherited,
Right.
as a result of the historical episode,
Right.
of my forefathers. I understand that,
Right.
But then I had to go and return to my father and mother, whom I love dearly. And I love what our family represents and all of that.
Right.
But I have to say that we are not honoring the forefathers and those people in the family that we don't even know their names.
And you had to go and find out, right?
Indeed.
Right.
There was Jacques Cousteau,
right,
who was a oceanic explorer.
Yes, he
used
was.
to be on television.
Yes, he was. My dad had me watching all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Had me writing reports.
You remember what his motto was?
No, I don't. I don't remember. I forgot most of the stuff, and that's my problem now, right? Most of the stuff that my dad taught me.
It's still there, though.
It's still there, but I just need some cleaning up of areas because I've put
a reminder.
Yeah,
Just a reminder. So I'm your reflection and your reminder in that regard.
I feel that every time we talk. I feel it. I swear I do.
And you're mine.
Right.
His motto was, "You're gonna love this." No, matter of fact, when I say what it is, say what space that takes to you. His motto was, "We must go and see for ourselves."
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We must go and see for ourselves. Where does that take you, brother? Take time. Take time.
You're not gonna get me up here crying, bro. We're not gonna do that. So
I mean,
you
right. But we're spiritual men, you know, and we're spiritual beings contained within physical vessels on a spiritual journey. So, if in the course of a day a person is moved to laughter, is moved to tears, is moved to determination, is moved to any other various expression of the human condition, then I would call that a full day. I call that a full day.
absolutely.
So
Yeah. It took me. So my dad, we lived in the Benjamin Banneker. He always used to take me over to Crozier Library, right? And yeah, we're gonna go see for ourselves today, right? So that takes me to a moment of exploration and understanding,
powerful,
right? And
powerful.
how can you understand if you don't explore?
Exactly.
Right. So
because nobody can learn for you.
No. And when they come back, they're going to tell you their experience, and it doesn't necessarily attribute or give you a full story of what they went through or how they felt or what they saw or how beautiful the colors were. You want to find out something, go see for yourself. I always said that. That's like
That's
you
it.
have to experience it, and yeah, go see for yourself.
See what that speaks to is a first-hand account of a situation, because we used to hear coming up, believe some of what you heard, and
half of what you
well, how did it go?
Believe half of what you hear and none of what you see.
None of what you see,
right,
something like that.
Right.
So, you know,
half of what you see and none of what you hear. I don't know. It works something like that.
Right. We heard it.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. In a trial, in order for there to be a substantive case conducted, you have to have a witness. A witness is not a secondhand account. Well, I heard, right. You know, well, that's not the witness that's going to sway the case.
I saw.
No, I was there.
Right.
I saw XYZ.
He said.
Right. He said.
He did.
He did.
Right.
And I saw it. So, in order for us to be able to speak with clarity and conviction to the conditions of our people, we have to have some firsthand account with those people. We have to have some firsthand account with some information, because you can't lead where you don't go, and you can't teach what you don't know. What do you have to offer to people? So, unfortunately, in some corners of this wide world of confusion, we have people who have figured out a way to monetize the confusion, because they got a business card and a website and some flyers, and they talk well, they speak well, and they have these degrees that people don't even know what that really means. So I'm saying these things only to prayerfully be a match in a very, very dark place. Because one thing is for sure is that light, and light is a synonym for truth. When you read that word light in the Bible, they are referring to truth in some instances, metaphorically. So what I'm saying is that no matter how big and bad the darkness is, light chases darkness.
Yes, it does.
Even a match chases the darkness, no matter how big the room. So, but I digress.
We were talking about generational traumas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Generational trauma.
Well, when we say generational trauma, we're talking about, what would you say was the biggest generational trauma in 1950?
1950.
Yeah.
Well, it would have to. I would think that a part of it would have to include the terror, the domestic terror visited upon Black communities by other white Americans in the night raids of the Ku Klux Klan, which is following the what do you call it, the Freedmen's program. These things, which when we say 1950, we're saying not even 100 years out of chattel slavery. Okay, going back to 1865 with the Emancipation Proclamation. So 85 years after the unofficial end of slavery, because slavery didn't end, and it didn't even end in 1865, because Lincoln only freed the slaves that were in the that were under the Confederacy. He didn't have any jurisdiction over the Confederacy because they had seceded from the Union. People don't read the fine print in anything, including things that are as significant as.
Now we're going to go all the way to the 2020s.
So, but I digress.
Right. 1960. 1950, I'd say segregation, right? And segregation.
Well, you enter segregation in the 60s.
No, 1960s, I said the assassination of our Black leaders.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but the genetic trauma of the 60s, I would say Emmett Till in 1954 thereabouts.
Right.
You know, but in 1954 thereabouts, you got a young minister by the name of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, he may have been in Chester.
Oh, he was in Chester.
At that time.
At that time, 1954.
Getting his I don't know what it's actually called, but becoming a minister.
Right, becoming a minister.
Because he attended Chester Theological Seminary, and he preached. There's a historical marker down there on I think 2nd Street, Calvary Baptist Church, which is happens to be the spiritual home for my parents as well. So that's the genetic trauma that led into the 1860s. But mind you, that because the hereditary effect of it is not broken, it's compounded. Yeah. So it's not, well, this happened in the 50s, that's what affected the 60s.
And we got over that and then something else.
No. It's what happened in the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, so on and so forth. Yeah. Because
when you go back too far, people say, that's too, I'm giving you
all of it. You feel it.
You have to.
Yes.
Right? But you know, I'm just trying to put it there. Just put a pin in it. 1950. We can start there. Let's start there, right?
Okay.
Most of us know someone who was born in the 1950s, right? My mom was born in 1955. My mom and my dad both born in 1955. So most of my friends, you feel me? They know their mom and dad. You understand what I'm saying? So you know your mom and dad. They were born in 1950s, right? Exactly. What did they have to deal with? Your mom and dad, right? We're talking about generational traumas, right? Things that have been passed down from our parents.
Real historical,
right? And
events.
And these events are real, right? Then we go 1960s, the assassination of our Black leaders.
1965, the assassination of Malcolm X. Right. 1968, April 4th, the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. The 1970s to the 90s, the war on drugs, mass incarceration, right? We know I was born in 1979, right? I have friends. Right. You know, then we do the 2000s to the 2020s, systemic racism, police killings on camera now, right? It's no more, he fell or we don't know what happened to him. They're showing you that they're shooting people and killing us.
With impunity. with impunity.
No questions
No
asked.
punishment for what they've done.
No
Now,
problem.
Let me interject this as well. There is a saying that we are all familiar with. History repeats itself.
Right.
I assert that if history is only repeating itself, then the definition, the classical dictionary definition of insanity is to continue to do the exact same thing and expect a different result. So if history just repeats itself, that's insanity.
It is.
I assert that history repeats itself until it corrects itself. We are, in this dispensation of time, being given the opportunity once again to right the ship, to change the direction of our destiny and lives. We are given the opportunity in this dispensation of time to identify, become, and take part in also developing strong black men, which is repeating the history of the honorable, the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who looked out at the condition of black people. I think this is in the 30s, and said, "Where is the black man's government? Where is his king and his kingdom? Where is his president, his ambassador? You know, his country and his men of big affairs." He looked out and said he didn't see any. He proclaimed himself one of them and started forming and fashioning others in his image and likeness, activating a God principle and God power. Because if there's anything that I could say to you about God, don't look for him in the sky. We must learn to identify the God presence that is in the midst of each and every one of us. If
Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time.
Malcolm X,
right?
The El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, he said that if a cat has kittens in an oven, you don't call them biscuits.
You definitely don't call them biscuits.
So, if we are formed and fashioned in the image of the Creator, in the image of God, what does that then make us? I say biscuits. No. It makes us gods and goddesses operating within this realm of activity, not thinking that we're something outside of this. So let me
Go ahead, do your thing.
Let me explain that for a moment, because that's a lot for somebody to try to contain within the parameters of a small brain. What, by definition, is a god? What does a god do? And this is not religious talk that I'm giving you. I'm sharing with you and imparting to you words of truth, not my truth, not somebody else's truth. I'm saying the truth that is truth, and it will, at the end of the day, hold its own. It's like a lion. A lion don't need nobody to protect it. It's just in the jungle doing lion things. The truth is like a lion. It doesn't need any help or support. It will stand on its own and defend itself. So any imam, any priest, any pastor, I don't care who you are. Let's sit down and talk. Let's sit down and talk with respect. But I know from what we were talking about a few minutes ago, from a first-hand account, what the active presence of God expressing himself on behalf of a people looks like. Because I lived for some time in what has become known throughout the world as the Village of Peace. Well, we call it the Village of Peace, but that was a group of people that left the United States in 1967 saying that we were the people of the book. Wait a minute. Okay. When we read about the God that they talk about in this Bible, when he moved, nations fell, nations rose up. The sum total of that God was not a mega church buying them all and having church with cameras, lights, action, and all of that. The earth and the fullness thereof. So those phenomenal men and women that I get the opportunity to speak on behalf of and to represent and be, I pray, a worthy reflection of the time that they spent teaching me when I didn't know the things that I know now. They challenged God. They read those stories of the Israelites being delivered by God, and they said, okay, they have the saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right?
Absolutely.
Well, the opposite of that. Let's play these spiritual games and see if we can win some spiritual victories.
Right.
They said, okay, we'll honor and serve you as it has been imparted and interpreted to us as we should do, but there's a condition. Do you hear the people giving a condition to the God that is God? They said, you gotta be a God for us and protect us when the FBI storms in the houses, which they did in the 80s, when they sought to deport us. They put our women and children in prison, our mothers and children in prison, deported the brothers, put them in prison, tried to break us. But when I came later on in the 90s, the people were still standing. The fiery furnace did not burn them. And now they have been a living testimony in the Holy Land. Black people from America have been living outside of America for over 50 plus years and have established their own schools, their own everything that we need, which is what Garvey's vision was, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, talked about, what Malcolm was the international ambassador for. Then Prince Asiel came, the only man that I've seen who stood shoulder to shoulder with Malcolm in terms of his ability to receive, distill, and impart information to a broken people suffering from generational trauma we've been talking about, and make them smarter just by hearing what he was talking about.
Let's talk about where and how these generational traumas show up in relationships and parenting and self-identity, right?
Right.
Let's do a little bit of relationships, right? Where are the places that generational trauma shows up? Could it be fear of abandonment?
Check.
Right? Emotional distance?
Check.
And not feeling safe being vulnerable?
Check.
Right. That's what I got. What you got?
Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. Man. Parenting, right?
Yes.
Raising your children in survival mode instead of stability. Tough love because life was tough. And perfectionism or harshness to protect kids.
See, what you said right there, brother, is profound, because just being safe, when we consider Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Mm-hmm.
The first level of the pyramid, and you don't get to go to any other level of the pyramid until you get to this first one, is basically safety, security, and your basic, human needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, for a moment, consider what the effect would be of your safety and security, as you said, being in soldier mode.
Right.
Okay? Now, what would the effect of that be on a group of people? Let me offer,
Go ahead.
let me suggest that we don't have to guess, because there are people there are people who live in the William Penn homes in Chester, Pennsylvania, that when the shooting has heated up, that's a problem. See, I remember the William Penn homes when they were brick.
Mm.
Now, you could probably shoot from one side of the William Penn homes all the way through to the other with the right caliber gun. But my point is this, okay, in Vietnam, they said that one of the devastating things that happened to people is they came back with this thing called PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
We already got that. It was already here. But I get it.
I'm saying to you that in the William Penn, at the time that I returned to this country in 2012, what was going on then, you're in a situation, see, in war, if you can get back to base camp, then you feel pretty safe,
right,
even in war.
Right.
Now imagine if your base camp is taken away,
right,
and you live in a place like that.
Right.
What I'm saying is, we have undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder running rampant that we ain't even talking about because it hasn't been identified as such. You're living in a condition, and you can't go anywhere else, where you're not safe outside of your house, nor are you safe within it. And people are dying in their homes.
Absolutely.
The sister was in her home. She got killed in her bathtub trying to hide from the gunshots. What did strong men do at the time? Well, my beloved brother and friend, and a shepherd in this community, Brother Eman Fareed, he said, we getting the brothers together and we going down there and talk to them. I'm with that. I'm with you. Let's go. And that's what we did. No police sirens, no cameras, more senior men talking to younger men, as men should do.
And do you think that helped, or was there?
I know it did.
You know it did?
I know it did. One thing, I'll share with you a part of the conversation, and then another experience along that same line of what I had. One of the young sons said to us, well, if you want us to stop doing this, what are you all going to give us? What are you going to do for us? I said, now mind you, the reason we went down there is because people are shooting.
Right.
We down there with no guns.
Right.
The people that we are talking to
have guns.
Right. I said to the young brother, I don't mean any disrespect to you. I don't mean no harm. But the men that I know, they got to wake up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe later, maybe earlier, I don't know, and go rake and scrape for everything they get. Ain't nobody giving them nothing. The only thing we're down here to give you is a way out of this condition.
And what was that way out?
You have to change your behavior. You have to change the manner and content of your associations if those associations are not positive, if those associations are destructive.
Right.
Because there's a law of relativity at work within the universe. You know. See, there's laws, statutes, and ordinances. Ordinances are made up for a particular situation at a particular time,
Right.
and when that particular situation has been satisfied, the ordinance goes away. Statutes, they're more staid,
Right.
more static. Okay, they don't change too much, although they can change. Law is immutable, indisputable, impossible, and immovable. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you know. I don't care how much money you have, what you think you know, what kind of shoes you got on. If you got on the latest, law don't care about none of that. It applies to everybody. Up, down, sideways, diagonal. So there's a law of relativity that governs the behavior of human beings. You know, you can't play stupid games and win intelligent prizes.
No way.
But I digress. That might have to be the name of the show.
What?
At some point.
I
digress.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I am. Like I said, when we talked, it wasn't a feeling. It was just like let me have a conversation with him. He came here. We had a conversation. We talked. Well, we was in here for like 2 hours. And I was like, all right. And even then, he was like, come on, let's go live now. And I was like, no, come back. You feel me? Let's make sure we're able to hit the people where we're supposed to hit them and let them know. Like, this is a podcast. You're going to take this from here on out, right? This is just you. I'll be here, of course, on the side, but it'll be more what you want to say and how you want to get your message out there. You'll have guests. You'll have people come through here. We were talking earlier about Keith Muhammad, right? Talking about the Million Man March, right? What did that do, right? Where there's a pin in place everywhere that I'm looking at a map and there's a timeline full of pins that I just want to understand. I want to understand the movement behind it, what happened after, and how or why we as a community didn't come a little bit closer together, right? And I get it. I understand, right? When you have someone standing over top of you and kicking over trash cans and tearing down schools and pulling people out and pushing people and not feeding and not helping, then I understand why, people look upward, like, help me, please.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, somebody, because I can't control how he's coming in here. I can't control the laws. I can't control. You feel me? And when you don't feel like you have control over anything, you just give up.
See, the people who chose to take the position of being an enemy or an adversary to our community, they could not afford for us to have a God that would be a God of liberation and freedom. They had to give us a different God, you see. And I don't mean any harm to anyone of the Christian or the Muslim persuasion, or any persuasion for that matter. But just as there has been the historical episode of slavery emanating out of Europe going into the Western hemisphere of the world, there has also been a historical episode of slavery emanating out of the eastern portions of the world, going into coming through Africa and into the eastern portions of the eastern hemisphere, is what I'm saying, which continues to this day. So, what we perhaps would best be served in doing is trying to tie in with some certified element of original knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Go back as far as you can possibly go, and become steeped in the understanding of those things. That's what I did. I studied religion, and I found that the branches of the Abrahamic faiths, that the root of that was the Hebrew people. But there's something that predates the Hebrew people, because we have more than 4,000 years continuous, and then 5,000 years total with a slight break of Kemetan or Egyptian history and knowledge, that Europe became God by removing the record of the gods that predated them when they destroyed the library in Alexandria. Had us, those who are members, and I'm not one, those who are members of the Masonic rites, had those brothers and sisters, well, those brothers rather, pardon me, those brothers out of the Prince Hall dynamic, which is black, in their ritual giving honor and praise to the Greeks. Before I left this country in 2002, I had a conversation with my father, who was a high-level Mason, very well respected, as he should be, as should have been. He earned it. But I asked him, and this is not even this is not something that I'm particularly interested in, that I'm sharing with him. But I said, this is the point that I'm speaking to you all about, is tying yourself in with some original wisdom, knowledge, and information. I asked him, are you familiar with Imhotep? Okay. Somehow I had read and I knew that part of their doctrine acknowledged Hippocrates, who the Greeks recognized as the quote-unquote father of medicine. All doctors to this day still take the Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
Starts with doing no harm.
Do no harm.
Okay. However, Hippocrates studied at the feet of Imhotep. Those documents that were destroyed in Alexandria, that was the witness that they eliminated, the first-hand account of people who, through their worship, were able to build the pyramids. Through their worship, were able to create one of the first contained forms of language in the hieroglyphic language. I said to my dad, are you familiar with Imhotep? No, never heard of him. Okay, cool. Well, it would seem that it might be a worthy venture to honor Imhotep instead of Hippocrates. I gave him the book, Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Dr. Anthony Browder, Tony Browder. I left the country. I didn't think about this,
Gone.
But he followed up and he read it and he shared the information with other Masons. And when I come back in the country, in about 10 years later, 2012, I happened to talk with a brother that I know who is a Mason. And he's like, hey, man, do you know that, like, I guess my name or whatever, because me and my dad had the same name, was kind of echoing for something or whether they had changed the ritual. That now when they read it, they give honor to the Africans, which makes sense because every human being that you've ever known about, read about, heard about, seen, talked to, whatever, is African. I don't care how white they are, how yellow or red or whatever. The historical record, the original record tells us that all life emanated out of northeastern Africa. The mother and father of all civilization is an African. And they know that, but they're putting it right in front of your face. They just do the Jedi mind trick on you and say, no, you're not, you niggas. Pardon me. But their science says that black is dominant and white is recessive. This is not racial conversation. These are scientific facts, indisputable. What are we talking about? What are we doing? Saying that to say that did you know that in Hebrew, the name Eve, which is Chava in Hebrew, literally means in Hebrew, the mother of all living. You ain't know that when you read Adam and Eve. What else you got, bro?
I'm just, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I appreciate you, and
Likewise.
I know.
Appreciation.
Yeah.
When I say that I appreciate you, brother.
Right.
When you did see, most people think that when you say appreciation, it's like I value you and I don't take you for granted.
Mm-hmm.
It's deeper than that.
It's way deeper than
with
that.
us.
Right.
With us.
Right.
Within the realm of stocks and investments and precious metals, precious stones, if something appreciates in value, it continually increases.
Yes.
If I say I appreciate you, that's because every time I've seen and heard something based upon this brother, Jean-Pierre, being in the mix of it, he was always increasing his value in my eyes. And increasing, and my appreciation for him created a great love for what he was doing and who he was. I read the piece by Hakeem Adabudi saying that you will recognize your brothers.
Yes, you will.
I'm sorry. I'm just talking about appreciation and saying that I appreciate you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love you. I mean, any way that I can help support the radio station, say less.
No, I just want you to come through here and talk to your brothers and just drop some jewels, right? Just drop some information.
Say less. But you did just a minute ago mention all of the things that you said that I would be doing.
Yes.
So I want to raise
already.
Already, I need to raise. Right. I need more money.
Right. I'll find you some. I'll definitely find you some.
No, we good, brother. Forever and a day.
No, these are.
What else we got?
Man, I mean,
how's my time?
I mean, we almost at an hour. You said you wanted to do a half an hour. We way beyond a half an hour, but we're good.
I'm like Mr. T.
Yeah.
I got a lot of more.
Right. You got a lot of you, and I know, and I need to get it. Pause. Yeah. I was going to say I need to get it out of you, and I'm not.
Pause. Yeah. I'm on the pause game.
No, I'm not needing it. But I do appreciate you for coming through here. I appreciate you for wanting to do the podcast. I appreciate you. You're talking about where the show will be located.
Yes.
on your pages. Let people know. This is a collaboration, right? This is
exactly.
not, we're not in competition, right? Even though we're looking for the same audience, we're looking for brothers that are looking for enlightenment. We're looking for brothers that want to move past the stagnation that they're in right now, right? We have a lot of generational trauma.
Yes, sir.
A lot of relationship trauma. I've been dealing with that for a minute, right? And I've been talking about it, and it was my fault because I knew better, and I still chose to to hang out on the edge of the pool. So now I'm jumping in. I'm going a little deeper, right? So and I need for my lifeguards. I need for my brothers that are watching me to keep an eye on me, man, because you know what happens when you go deep. You might get lost, fall down, or something like that. Anyway, I appreciate you for coming through here. If there's anything else you want to say, now's the time to say it. But your podcast, we're gonna pick a day, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday don't work right now because I got another podcast coming in here at 7. But
Right.
if you want to go after 7 on a Wednesday, I don't have no problem with that. It's up to you. But it's also for your guests as well, right? Making sure. So we'll talk
For
about that.
sure. For sure.
We'll talk about that.
For sure.
Anything else you want to read in that book that you got right there? Because that's an important book, man. Explain that book.
Well, let me talk about this. Thank you. Thank you. What the brother is referring to is what I. This is something that I was blessed to create when I returned to the States in 2012 or thereabout, and it's a brotherhood portfolio, and the event that sparked the need for it was the annual regional brotherhood roundtable discussion, and what we were doing was, and we're doing it this year, so this is perfect timing. But this portfolio is, at least in my mind, for 2015, as much of the essential information that I could put in a form that all the brothers who came and attended that session could then take with them and use in their service to their communities as well. So the regional brotherhood roundtable discussion is a gathering of men during the King holiday. One of those days in there, because there's the extra holiday that we have to use for that. And basically, we're doing an assessment. Where are we now? What are the critical factors that are facing us as we begin to enter into this coming year? Okay, and hopefully, if there's enough time, we also start to identify some specific areas that we can address in terms of putting a formula together to address those problem areas that have been identified. Okay, and so that's what we are in the planning stages. I have another mentor and brother who I go back a long way, and I'm reminded of the fact that every generation, we talk about generational trauma. What about generational blessings? How do they work? So when I was a young man, when I was a younger man, I'm still a young man. When I was a younger man at Lincoln University, there was a brother who came up. He was selling cultural artifacts and books and all of that kind of thing. His name was Brother Hanif Shabazz. I never forget the first time that I heard him speak. He came in the room and he opened with this question. He said, "Brothers and sisters, how many Africans are there in the room?" The answer to that question, which is what I have already shared with you, it changed. It was a paradigm shift on the world for me, because when he said that everybody, anywhere, anytime, anyhow, is an African, okay, I need to listen to this brother. I need to understand what he understands. I need to know what he knows. So I'm availing myself to you to share with you the things that brothers like him shared with me, and we'll bring him on the program so that you can hear from him directly. But I was talking about this portfolio, which contains a lot of the information that I felt was pertinent at the time, but In the center of the book, which I felt would be the heart of the book, I put the most important thing that I could think of to tell anybody who came that weekend, and that was to drink more water. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about all this other stuff, social and economics and all of that kind of thing. But the most important thing that people can begin to do is make sure that they're going to be here. Take a look at what your dietary choices are. And not just dietary in the sense of what you eat and consume on a plate, but what you eat and consume through media and other things such as that. But science has shared with us that a human being can survive or subsist longer without food than they can survive or subsist without water. So I always tell people, and none of us drink enough. So drink more water. And but I digress. As I come to a close, you can find some of this information of which I'm sharing with you on Facebook at this time. I have some websites, but the show that I have, which Brother Pierre is assisting me with getting out, is entitled "Something to Say: Teach, Talk, and Tell the Truth." And what it is a video series featuring spontaneous overview of various topics, which is what we've been doing here today, of interest to those seeking truth. And I am your host, Brother Ben, Abdul Ben Yehuda, aka also known as Tom Outland. And I close in saying that, also let me mention that if you go on Facebook, and you might also want to check out, and don't just go on the page and script through and scroll through and say, oh, that's deep, that's some information, whatever. No, what they say, like, subscribe, or whatever, all of that. Do all of that stuff too, please. But we are also a page called I created Black Men Who Love Black Women, which at this time currently has 75,000 followers in it. And I pray that you would be 7,000 and 75,001 or 75,002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know what. But what's interesting as well is that we're building a network, okay, of like-minded individuals who will work for the greater good of the other like-minded individuals in the group, to build the village that we need so that we can be safe, so that we can have peace, so that our children don't have to grow up under conditions that produce post-traumatic stress disorder. We're seeking to break the generational trauma of which we've been talking about, but to continue to do the same things that we've been advocating for years. And I'm not saying don't vote. All I'm saying is let's look at where we are as a result of having the vote now for 60 solid years. The Voting Rights Act of 1965, if I'm not mistaken, it may have been 63 or 64. 60 years of voting. Are our conditions of our communities better? Yes or no? You have to answer that for yourself. So we are also Black men who love Black women, but after a few years of putting content on that page, I decided to do a search for Black women who love Black men, and it wasn't there, y'all. It wasn't. There was Black women who love Australian men, Black women who love Irish men, Black women who love poodles, right? So I'm taking you behind the curtain. So for you brothers who have been on Black women who love Black men and DMing to your heart's content in the DM section. You've been DMing a man primarily. So, you know, get something to drink because y'all brothers are thirsty out there, man. But we do have sisters with us as well. But what I want to say about Black men who love Black women Facebook page and Black women who love Black men Facebook page is that puts at the disposal of not only me but the disposal of CMP and Brother Pierre anything that we want to put in front of 100,000 people with the click of a button. I'm telling y'all, we got this figured out. And there's a whole lot more. I'm not even touching on half. Not even touching on a fraction. I'm saying to you that you can't lead as my former pastor, the Reverend Dr. M.R. McKnight used to say at Shiloh Baptist Church, which started in Chester, Pennsylvania, right up there on Central Avenue, on the corner of 9th and Central. Shiloh Baptist Church is now 7th and Central. I remember before any of that was ever built. Reverend Dr. M.R. McKnight used to say, you can't lead where you don't go. And you can't teach what you don't know.
Let's go.
And I'm saying to you that the things that I'm sharing with you, I am not guessing. I'm sharing with you what I saw with a first-hand account that I, as your emissary, your servant, saw and am now bringing you a report of those things and telling you how we can mass produce those same types of communities where our children can run free in the midst of the people, and we don't have to worry about anybody bothering them, anybody messing with them, anybody taking them outside of their cycle. Because I don't know if you all remember the series In Living Color. I may be dating myself, but there was this guy called Homie the Clown, and Homie don't play that. The brothers, we don't play that. I'm just saying to you, listen, keep your hands to yourself, brothers. If you feel as though you need to, do whatever it is that you need to do to that woman, get you some boxing gloves and take that to the gym. Enough of that. Violating these young daughters and such. I don't want to proselytize. I don't want to preach. But enough is enough. Heard a story recently that one of the chaplains in the city of Chester shared with me, where the guy who was married, he's a married man, the woman's daughter is not his daughter. He violates not only the daughter, but the cousin of the daughter. The wife is in the house. What are we doing? Then, when the mother finally does get around to calling the father is bet on site. He on site. Okay. The coward turns himself into the police. What I'm saying to you is, out there, listen, as a black man, I don't want to see any harm come to a black man, another black man, especially by a black man. But if you present yourself as an enemy to the people within the community, to God's people, then you my enemy. And we can get down however you want to get down. I got back. There's a brother like who we'll have on the show, Minister Keith Muhammad, whom I love. That's my brother, man. One time I rolled up on a situation I was running through the city. Nobody was chasing me. Police had our young sons on the ground down there by the YMCA. Had them on the ground. It was cold. I stopped my run to observe what the police that my tax dollars pay for, as I have a right to do. They don't seem to like that.
Mm-mm.
But I'm talking to you about the brothers, man. Minister Keith Muhammad came outside to see what was going on with his brother. You know. But the horrible thing about this was that those, you see, because I addressed the police. I said, do you have to have these young sons? Couldn't have been more than about 12 years old or so, 12, 13 years old, little guys. You got to have them on the ground like that? The horrible thing was, I'm ignorant. Because I didn't know that big, I don't even know what caliber gun it was. They had just taken off of these young kids riding a bicycle through Chester. I'm saying that the brothers are back. The brothers are back. And I close. I greet you as I came in peace and love, and saying that, okay, the brothers are back. So there'll be more information forthcoming, but I pray that the Most High, the Great Spirit, by whatever name you call him, will continue to bless and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, lift up his countenance unto you, be gracious unto you, and grant you peace. Shalom.